Okay, so the operations phase, this is where all the fun really begins. This is where you do actions with each individual unit. You activate a unit, you perform an action, and then you mark him as either moved, fired, or whatever you did with that unit to complete his action. You do one unit, your opponent does a unit. You do a unit, your opponent does a unit. It goes back and forth like that. If you activate a leader, and he has a command radius influence on a unit adjacent to him or in that hex, you can also do combine things. But I have a Band of Heroes chart that I'm just going to kind of flip through here and go through some things. Now, the first thing, I did forget to mention this, is that every unit in cover on the board automatically starts in cover as not spotted yet. So if a unit wants to attack another unit, say if this unit was here at the beginning of the turn, and he wants to attack this 2-3-4 with Captain Weiss inside this building, he's not spotted yet. He is basically hidden in the building, and you have to see if you can discover him or not. So the first thing you do, if you want to shoot at this guy, is do a spotting roll. Now a spotting roll, you have to roll a 1 or a 2 in order to spot him. Not very likely. So he's not spotted. So this unit has done something. So he's marked as ops complete. And what that means is he can't move and he can't do an outright fire, but if his opponent moves, he can fire. And I could be wrong on that. I got to double check the rules on that, and I will suggest that you check that out. But basically, if he was spotted on a roll of 1 or 2, he could complete his attack on that without the spotting roll anymore. Oops. Okay, so if he does this attack, and we're going to go to attacks in just a bit, he'd be marked with a fired marker after he's done, and then the combat goes back and forth between the two players, and then the effects are applied to the defending unit. So the spotting check is rolling a dice plus the defensive terrain, which is the building, and then minus the leadership. So another thing a unit can do is lay smoke. So if a unit wants to attempt to lay smoke, he has to roll a die, and he rolls a 1 or a 2, and you can basically place smoke on the board here. There's a marker in here somewhere for, there it is. And you can place these smoke markers on the board. So hero creation, that happens when a damage check is happening and you roll a 1, you roll another die, and if it's even, you get a hero. And a hero is on the board here somewhere. Yeah, this guy. So you get another hero, and you randomly pick a hero and a skill card. So some of the things you can do with a unit are moving, firing, move into melee, lay smoke, and I think there's a few other things, but that's enough to get you started and stuff. So let's just pretend like I'm going to attack this guy or try to do something here. So my hero is going to try to be activated for this turn, and he is going to fire at Captain Weiss. Now, once a unit moves or fires or completes an action like that, he's considered spotted automatically. So you don't have to do that spotting roll. Let's pretend like Captain Weiss shot at this 144 over here. So now he's no longer requires a spotting roll because we saw him shoot his gun, and now this guy is going to shoot him. Okay, so this is where probably one of the tougher things of the game is understanding how the fire combat works, but it's a very, very simple Simple thing. You roll a die and you add your firepower. His firepower is 1, so we're going to roll 1 die. He rolled a 3, and that's his total attack. Or I'm sorry, 4 is his total attack because he added the firepower of the unit. So it's the firepower plus the die roll. I'll go through the check here. Plus any die roll modifications that are from the chart in the game. And we'll go through that in just a second. Now the defending unit, he's in a building, stone building, which is a +4. So he gets a 4. And the die roll. So his total is 7. We compare those two numbers. 4 is not greater than 7, so there's no attack there. It's not successful. If it was, we'd do something called a damage check. So let's do the reverse here. The 2, 3, 4 will fire at the hero. So he has a firepower of 2, and the leader in the hex gives him a base of 3. So that's 2 for the unit itself, 1 for the leader is 3, and then the die roll. Two, so we have a total of 5. And this unit is a 1. I'm sorry, he doesn't get his. He rolls his dice and 2. So we have a difference of 5, and we need to add the terrain. But let's just pretend like he's out in the open so we get this straight. Alright, so he's out in the open, and the difference is 3. So now we do a damage check, and whatever we roll here, we add to the die roll. So we want to get less than that morale number of 6 in order for him to be okay. So 4 plus 3 is 7, and looking at the chart of the damage check, he's suppressed. Oh, I'm sorry, he's a hero, so he's wounded. But a typical unit is suppressed when he's attacked. Shaken. And that's pretty much it for fire combat. So it's the attacker rolls a die plus his firepower plus the die roll modifications from that chart, and the defender rolls a die roll plus his terrain modifier. And if the attacker is greater than the defender, there's a damage check. And the damage check is the difference between the two added to the next die roll for each unit. So it sounds complicated, but it's really easy. I like it because it kind of adds that suspense of you know how much the damage check, a really bad damage check, or if you get a +1 or something like that. But it kind of has 2 rolls, and it has lengthens out the attack a little longer to where you don't know exactly what's going to happen. So what is a die roll modifier? These are the questions that you ask each time that you're performing a fire action like this to try to understand if the unit being attacked is in an advantageous or a disadvantageous, a good or bad situation. If he is moving, it's a +1 to the attacker's roll because he is moving out in the open. So if any unit has a moved marker on him, that is a +1 to the attacker's die roll. And we'll just read through these real quick. The target is a non-vehicle unit marked with a moved or assault move marker and is currently moving, not low stealth crawl. So that's a +1 to the die roll for the attacker. Target unit is marked with a moved assault move or currently moving, -1. So that's for the target. So if you're in a vehicle, basically you're moving by faster, so you get a -1 because they're harder to hit. So target unit is in a vehicle marked with moved assault. Firing during a night scenario, we'll just ignore that for now. Target unit is adjacent. That would add a +2 to the die roll for the attacker. Per degrading terrain hex through which LOS passes is a -1 to the die roll. Attacking unit is a passenger on a non-moving vehicle, -1 to the die roll. Attacking unit is a passenger on a moving vehicle, -2 to the die roll. Vehicle mounted MG firing after assault movement. Eligible MMC or SMC firing. Vehicle mounted MG firing after vehicle pivots. Defending units die roll modifications per target terrain. So, I'm sorry I read all those to you, because honestly, I would be very confused at this point if somebody read all those to me. But as you play the game with vehicles and you start moving around with vehicles or units in vehicles firing at other people as you're going around, you'll see the complexity increases. But this scenario, you don't have to worry about that. It's just you're moving, you're in terrain, or the target is adjacent. And those are the only 2 or 3 you have to worry about, but they have all the exceptions there. So just to show you how that movement thing works, let's put this guy here, and do the same thing again. So this guy is moving. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, and he's trying to get to that building. We'll mark him as moved. This unit is going to say, I'm going to attack him, and they'll be marked with a fire marker when they're complete. They get a 2 + 1 for the leader, which is a base of 3, +1 for the fact that the unit is moving. So that's 2 + 3 + 1. So the base attack is 6 versus whatever this guy rolls. And it's 6 to 6, which is no attack. Just kind of unusual. So that's it. After all those units are marked used or done with their actions and stuff like that, it goes to the admin phase at the end of the turn, and basically all those counters that say moved and fire are removed from the board and stuff. So take a break. Take a look at the rules on the fire action. It's very, very simple. An attacker rolls a die and his modifications. Defender rolls his die plus his terrain modifications. The two are compared, and if the attacker's number is greater, that difference is applied to the damage check. And so you just basically roll a die to see what the damage is to that unit, and then you add that difference between those two from before. When we get back, we'll talk about opportunity fire and some other types of actions that could be done in the game.